Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to unpack complex ideas and really pull out the key insights for you. And today we're doing something, well, I think it's truly special. We're inviting you into this collection of really profound ancient voices. Think of it as diving into these powerful stories of transformation, resilience, incredible insight from ages past that honestly still hit home today. Our focus for this deep dive is on excerpts from a section called Tika-nipāta. Now, these are verses attributed to early Buddhist nuns, the Theras. But really, don't picture dusty old documents. These feel much more like personal accounts, almost like diary entries from women figuring out their own paths to liberation.
That's a great way to put it. They're incredibly human. Our mission today is basically to pull out the most potent bits of wisdom from these texts. We get to look at their struggles, their breakthroughs, the surprising insights they had. It offers you, hopefully, a kind of shortcut to understanding their journeys toward inner peace, towards, real spiritual freedom.
It really is fascinating how universal these experiences feel, even across millennia.
Absolutely.
Okay, so where should we start? How about with Sāmā? Her journey has this, well, kind of surprising beginning. I mean, imagine dedicating 25 years, that's Pechavisati Vasani in the text, right? A quarter century, to being a nun.
Yeah, 25 years.
And yet she's incredibly open about it. She says, Navijanami Chitasa Samalatakuttakani. She never found mental calm.
Right, or had her mind under control, Sitteya Vasavatini. She felt restless, despite all that time and effort.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It kind of challenges that notion that just, putting in the hours automatically gets you there. For Sāmā, the real shift, her turning point, wasn't just more practice. It was this feeling the text calls savagaiti to be, kind of profound urgency, maybe an emotional jolt.
Oh, okay.
It happened when she really remembered the Buddha's teaching. This wasn't just a passing thought, it was deep. A real internal shift that pushed her into, well, a different kind of effort.
And that effort, that renewed focus, it paid off.
It did. She talks about diligent effort, facing different kinds of suffering, and eventually achieving tanchakayo.
The destruction of craving.
Exactly. And she even gives that incredibly specific detail that her craving had dried up just 7 nights before she spoke those verses.
Wow. That sounds so definite, like a switch flipped after all those years.
It does suggest a very tangible shift, yes. But interestingly, her story continues. Even after that breakthrough, she was still seeking a deeper, more stable kind of peace.
Really? Even after destroying craving?
Apparently so. The text says she kept leaving the monastery Katukatu 4 or 5 times, still looking for guidance, for mental peace.
Huh. So it wasn't just one big aha moment and then done.
It seems not. It highlights that insight can be a process, right? Even after making significant progress, there could be more refinement, more seeking.
Okay, so she kept going. She didn't just settle. She actively sought out help.
That's right. She found a nun she had real faith in, Yamasabeyakaahu, someone she trusted deeply.
That says a lot about finding the right teacher, doesn't it? Mentorship.
Absolutely crucial. And this nun gave her specific instructions. The teaching was on the niṭṭhito, the aggregates, sense bases, and elements.
Okay, break that down a bit. What does that mean practically?
Well, it's essentially the Buddhist framework for analyzing our entire experience, breaking it down into body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, consciousness, the senses, their objects. It's a way to see how we construct our reality.
And how suffering arises from that construction.
Exactly, how to deconstruct it. And after getting these instructions, Sāmā's practice became incredibly intense.
Intense how?
She sat for 7 days straight in one posture, but listen to this. She was filled with pitisukhasamapita, joy and happiness.
7 days, wow. What a complete turnaround from that earlier restlessness she described.
Isn't it? And the way she describes the final moment is so vivid. On the 8th day, she extended her legs, having pierced the mass of darkness. Tamokandha.
Pierce the mass of darkness. That's not just stretching her legs, clearly.
No. It's a powerful metaphor for enlightenment. Seeing through ignorance, achieving profound liberation.
So the takeaway from Sāmā, it's like persistence matters, even when it feels fruitless. But then you also need the right guidance and maybe that intense focus.
I think that's it exactly. Her, quarter century of effort wasn't wasted. It laid the groundwork. That the right teaching and that intense focus brought about this rapid, profound breakthrough. It's about cumulative effort meeting the right conditions.
Okay, so Sāmā shows us the process, the long journey, and the intense practice. Let's shift now to Uttamā. Her verses seem to focus more on the results, the fruits of liberation once it's fully realized.
Yes, Uttamā speaks very directly about cultivating the sattva-bodhisattva, the 7 factors of awakening.
Right. Those are specific qualities, aren't they? Like mindfulness, investigation.
Energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity.
Yes.
And she explicitly calls them paths to Nibbāna.
And she didn't just cultivate them, she achieved something profound.
She did. She speaks of attaining suññata-sanimitasa, often translated as emptiness or the signless state. It's not nothingness, but freedom from the illusion of a solid, separate self.
And she calls herself Orasadita Buddhasa,
A daughter of the Buddha by birth. It signifies this deep spiritual connection, this state of complete fulfillment. She says she's always delighting in Nibbāna, that ultimate peace beyond suffering.
The end result for her sounds incredibly complete. All desires cut off, divine and human.
Yes. And the jati-sasaro, the cycle of rebirth, is exhausted. Natidani punabhavo, there's no future existence for.
That's it. Full liberation.
These aren't just abstract ideas she's talking about. She presents them as the direct, experiential results of following that path, cultivating those factors. It really makes you think, if this is possible.
No, it stops us. Yeah. Sometimes the path involves looking outward too, right? Like with Dantikā. Her insight came from just observing.
Exactly. Simple moments. She's on Gishakuta Mountain, Vulture's Peak, and sees this scene. An untamed elephant.
A wild elephant.
Well, maybe not fully wild, but being brought under control. There's a man with a goad teaching it, asking it to put its foot out so he can get on. And the elephant does it.
Okay. So she sees this elephant being trained.
And that's her aha moment.
Yeah.
Seeing this external act of taming helps her own mind settle into concentration. She draws this direct parallel.
If that powerful animal can be tamed.
And so can my own mind.
Yeah.
My own wild thoughts and impulses. It's about applying those principles of discipline, the ones you see outside, to your own inner world. A powerful analogy.
That makes sense. Then there's Ubbirī. Her story starts from a place of intense pain.
Oh, absolutely. Deep grief. She's found weeping in a forest, a charnel ground, actually, for her daughter Java, who has died. It's raw suffering.
Just heartbreaking.
And then this intervention happens. A voice speaks to her. Some say it's the Buddha, others a deva. But the message is key. It tells her to know yourself.
Know yourself in the middle of that grief.
Yes. And it asks, why mourn this one jiva? It delivers this, stark truth. 84,000 named jiva have been burned in this very charnel ground.
Wow. 84,000, that's jarring.
It is. It's not meant to invalidate her pain, I think, but to place it in a much larger context. The universal reality of impermanence, of countless lives beginning and ending.
And how does she react to that?
Her realization is described so vividly. She felt like an arrow of sorrow, one that was lodged deep in her heart, hard to even see, had suddenly been pulled out.
You can almost feel the relief in that description, that release.
Exactly. And the transformation is total. She becomes cool, completely extinguished, parinibbāta, that state of profound peace. She takes refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, the teaching, and the Sangha, the community.
So even the deepest grief can become a doorway.
It seems so. When met with wisdom, with that broader perspective on impermanence, it can be this incredibly powerful catalyst for awakening.
These women face so many internal battles, but some also had to deal with external challenges, like ignorance or people just not getting it, like Sukkā.
Right, Sukkā. You can really feel her frustration. She's teaching in Rajagaha, a major city, and she says people there act as if they've drunk honey.
Drunk honey, meaning what?
Like they're intoxicated, maybe complacent, unreceptive. They just don't listen to her teaching, the Buddha's doctrine. It's the classic frustration of someone trying to share something valuable and meeting indifference.
Yeah, I can imagine that feeling.
But she draws this contrast, which is key. She says the Sapaññā, the wise people, they do listen. They drink her teaching, this unrefusable, pure essence. Like a thirsty traveler welcomes rain from a cloud.
So the value isn't lost just because some ignore it.
Exactly. The insight seems to be that the worth of wisdom isn't diminished by those who aren't ready for it. Its value is recognized by those who are genuinely open, thirsty for that truth.
Okay. Then we have Selā, who faces a very direct kind of opposition. Mara, the tempter.
Yes, Mara. This figure who represents all the things that obstruct spiritual progress. Temptation, doubt, fear, even death itself.
And Mara basically tells her, give up. There's no escape anyway. Just enjoy the pleasures life offers.
Right. Pretty much. Enjoy sensual pleasures, don't regret missing out later. It's the classic temptation narrative.
But Selā's response is amazing.
It's incredibly strong. She calls sensual pleasures sethasulupama, like spears and stakes. Things that actually harm you, that crush your well-being.
So what Mara calls delight, she now sees as painful or aversion-worthy.
Precisely. She's completely flipped the script on pleasure and suffering because she sees their true nature. She understands the hidden danger in chasing those fleeting pleasures.
And her victory cry, we've heard this before, haven't we? Joy is destroyed everywhere. The massive darkness is pierced.
Yes, tamakando padalio. It echoes Sāma's liberation. And she declares Mara, the evil one, is vanquished. It's this powerful declaration of having seen through illusion and temptation.
Not by fighting it head-on necessarily, but by understanding it.
Understanding its empty nature, yes. That's the liberation.
And finally, Somā. She also faces Mara, but he adds this extra layer of, well, prejudice.
He does. He tries to dismiss her specifically because she's a woman. He uses this phrase, vagulipanyaya, with her two-finger wisdom.
Two-finger wisdom, what's that supposed to mean?
It's derogatory. It implies something like shallow or limited intelligence, supposedly characteristic of women, maybe related to domestic tasks like cooking rice or something. He's saying, someone like you can't possibly reach the profound state the sages attain.
Wow. That's blatant sexism, even from a mythological tempter.
It is, but Soma's comeback is just brilliant. It completely dismantles his premise.
What does she say?
She asks, essentially, what difference does being a woman make? Or what can womanhood do? When the mind is well concentrated, when wisdom is present, and one is seeing the truth rightly.
She just cuts right through it. Gender is irrelevant.
Totally irrelevant to spiritual capacity and insight. It's about the state of the mind, the presence of wisdom. A powerful, timeless statement.
And does she also?
Yes, she echoes that same victory cry. Joy is destroyed everywhere, the massive darkness is pierced, and declares Mara vanquished.
So Sāmā, Selā, Somā, they all use this piercing the massive darkness metaphor.
It seems to be a common way to express that profound experience of liberation, of ignorance being dispelled. It underlines that despite their different paths and challenges, the core attainment, the breakthrough, has this shared quality. True wisdom transcends gender, circumstance, everything superficial.
So wrapping this up, thinking about all these incredible journeys, Sāma's long struggle and sudden breakthrough, Uttamā's clear articulation of the fruits of Nibbāna.
Dantikā finding wisdom and watching an elephant Ubbirī transforming shattering grief.
And then Sukkā, Selā, and Somā confronting ignorance, temptation, and prejudice with such clarity and strength.
It's quite a collection of experiences.
It really is. And while these stories are ancient, from a very different world, they touch on things that feel so universal, don't they? That search for peace.
Oh, absolutely. The struggle with attachment, with wanting things to be different than they are, facing obstacles, both internal doubts and external challenges.
And maybe most importantly, that potential for profound change, for transformation, that seems to be within all of us.
Exactly. They serve as reminders, really, that this path towards inner peace, towards liberation, it's a path that can actually be walked by anyone.
So as you go about your day, maybe carry this question with you. We heard these powerful metaphors, piercing the massive darkness, pulling out the arrow in the heart. What massive darkness, what ignorance or confusion, or what arrow of sorrow or attachment might you be invited to examine in your own life, on your own journey toward perhaps a deeper understanding or a greater sense of peace? Just something to ponder.